I've got a bunch of new Mac games for you released back in May. It was a decent month filled with indie games and a few bigger budget titles, so let's get to it. Here are the top 10 new Mac games for May 2018. Starting at number 10, we have Horizon Chase Turbo. This is a racing game which is heavily inspired by classic 80s and 90s racing titles like Outrun, Lotus Turbo Challenge, Top Gear, Rush, and even more. It offers tons of content here, such as 12 cups, 48 cities, 109 tracks, unlockable cars, and heaps of upgrades. The racing gameplay is fairly simple, but does offer challenges, as each curve in the road and lap you complete is fast-paced. Horizon Chase Turbo also offers split-screen support across all game modes. There is a version of this game available on mobile devices, but this version is not a mobile port. It has been completely designed for a PC experience with more features, enhanced 16-bit graphics, and resolution support for up to 4K. Number 9 is Runner 3. The rhythm music platform game is back with its third title. While it might not be as fleshed out as the first two, it's still worthy of being presented to you. You'll control a protagonist called Commander Video who runs forward automatically, and you, the player, must control his actions such as jumping, sliding, and kicking to overcome obstacles and to collect things. Every action that comes your way is in time with the music, so you have to make sure you keep to the beat to get through all the levels. It's not the most amazing game out there, but I thought some of you would be interested in this type of gameplay, as it can be fast-paced and addicting. Number 8, we have Wizard of Legend. Here we have a fast-paced dungeon crawler with roguelike elements that also has a strong emphasis on magic combat too. The gameplay mechanics use quick movement, which makes the gameplay never boring and dull, and you can collect and use interesting spells. The player can actually combine spells to create devastating attacks against enemies, which is awesome. You'll battle through challenging levels and attempt to defeat powerful enemies and bosses along the way. It's a really fun game with stunning 2D visuals, however, it does only offer local co-op, and I'd love them to bring online co-op to this game. Number 7 is Spartan Fist. Alright, this game is quite different, I get that, but I actually think it's really cool. It doesn't seem to be that well known out there at all, actually, so I'm happy to be showing it to you today. The gameplay is fairly simple. You basically fight in single-player roguelite arenas with the end goal of taking down everyone to receive awards. Spartan Fist doesn't offer an overwhelming amount of content right now and could be a little cheaper, but it's really fun just going into arenas and smashing everyone. I would suggest that the developers include multiplayer battles, and then the price would be more acceptable. Number 6, we have Unforeseen Incidents. I've got a new adventure game for you guys. Unforeseen Incidents is an interactive adventure mystery set in a stunning, hand-painted world. You'll follow Harper Pendrell and experience a peculiar investigation, smart dialogue, and a great cast of characters. The art style reminds me of early 2000s point-and-click adventure games, which isn't a bad thing, by the way. This genre isn't very loved these days, and what I mean by that is there aren't many point-and-click adventure games as there used to be, so I'm glad the developer worked hard to bring us this game. Overall, it presents an engaging story, relatable characters, awesome artwork and music, and simple but fun point-and-click gameplay.
I've got no idea what's happening, and I'm not smart enough to double-cross anyone. You can definitely trust me.
Number 5 is Total War Saga: Thrones of Britannia. This is a standalone Total War game that challenges you to rewrite a critical moment in history, one that will shape the future of the British Isles. With 10 playable factions, you must build and defend a kingdom of Anglo-Saxons, Gaelic clans, Welsh tribes, or Viking settlers. You can forge alliances, manage settlements, raise armies, and pursue campaigns of conquest across a very detailed Total War map. The classic Total War gameplay has been somewhat refined, including many updates to the core Total War mechanics such as provinces, politics, technologies, recruitment, dilemmas, and much more. It's not the best Total War game, that is for sure. It's not as deep as previous titles, but it's still entertaining.
Kings will rise. One will rule.
Number 4, we have Far Lone Sails. When I started this game, I finished it in one playthrough. It's a short adventure game, around 2.5 hours, but it keeps your attention the whole time, at least for me it did. It starts out with a protagonist who I believed recently lost a family member, most likely the father. The protagonist, and I don't know if it's a guy or a girl, then decides to traverse inside a vehicle, going through a post-apocalyptic setting to hopefully reach any signs of life. As you travel, you'll need to keep maintaining the vehicle by refilling its engine, repairing sections that become broken, putting out fires, and upgrading parts. Far Lone Sails has an amazing soundtrack that can be haunting at times or really uplifting, plus the sceneries or visuals are really spectacular. Number 3 is Paladins. This game isn't exactly new, is it? But if you didn't know, it officially came out of early access in May. I featured Paladins so many times on Mr. Macwright because it's one of the best multiplayer FPS games out there, offering lots of champions to choose from, maps, guns, modes, and customization options too. And the game is completely free to play on Steam, which is fantastic. The community is also really passionate, which makes playing online even better, as everyone's having a good time no matter how good or bad you are. To be honest, not many decent shooters come to macOS these days, which sucks, and that's why this game is such a big deal for us. Number 2, we have Gorogoa. Officially out for Mac in May, Gorogoa is a really special game. If you're not convinced by the simple gameplay, just stay with me, okay? This is a puzzle game presented through a beautifully hand-drawn interactive story. The gameplay is similar to the Framed franchise, but it's still very original in its own right. It's comprised of illustrated panels that players can arrange and combine to solve puzzles. The puzzles are really fun and offer a good challenge, but it isn't too overwhelming and can actually be relaxing. It's simple, a very simple game that is also rather short at around 2 hours, but Gorogoa is actually very complex and is worth a try. And finally, number 1, we have Pillars of Eternity 2, Deadfire. When the first Pillars of Eternity was released, it was pretty much a success from the get-go. It broke records on Kickstarter for reaching nearly 4 million and is considered one of the best RPG games for Mac. So here we are, Pillars of Eternity 2 has been released on Mac, but is it worth your time? I'm gonna say yes. This game is a big deal. It's a worthy successor, but also has improved upon all elements of the original game. Visually, it looks better, and some would argue it plays better with improved and new naval combat. Those are the best Mac games I could find released in May. What did you think of these games? Are you thinking of getting one? Are you not interested in any of them? Let me know in the comments. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye bye.